In this tutorial, we're going to talk about how we can use the table function on your graphing calculator. So here I have a function that I've plugged into y equals x cubed plus 3x squared minus 6x minus 8. And let's say I wanted to look up a value by looking at a table of values. Now, the way that we access the table is we hit second and then graph, and that brings up the table. Okay, so if you take a look here, by default, this is what your table will look like. Now, depending on maybe how you've already played around with your calculator, it may not populate the same way, but by default, this is what happens. So you'll see here that automatically it populates your values for x, 0 all the way up to 10. And you can see here that on the next column, we have our y values. So when x equals 0 for this function, y is equal to negative 8. When x equals 1, y is equal to negative 10, and so on. Now, you can absolutely scroll down, and it will continue finding values for you. And if you continue scrolling back up, you get into the negatives, it will also find all those values for you as well. Now, what if you wanted to find a specific set of values? Let's say you wanted to go up by 1/2 instead of going up by 1. This right now automatically changes it. So there is a way to access our table settings. So if you hit second and window, you're going to get to the table settings. And here, there are a couple of things. So first, table start means this is the first value it's going to find. So it started off with x equals 0. The next line is the change. It's a little triangle table. So that means the change that it goes up by. So right now it's going up by 1. So if we want to change that to going up by 1/2, I'm just going to go ahead and change this to 0.5. And now if I go back to the table, you'll see that it goes up by 1/2. So it goes 0, then 0.5, then 1, then 1.5. Okay, let's say you didn't want this to automatically give you all these values. Let's say you wanted to put in your own specific values. What you can do is you can go back to the table settings, so second and then window. And after the change that it goes up by, you'll see independent and dependent. So what you can do is have the independent variable set to ask. So if we do that, what ends up happening, now if we go back to the table, is now it's completely empty. And what it's doing is it's going to ask you for your x values. So rather than automatically populating, right, that's what auto means, you're going to put in your own values of x. Say you had specific values of x you wanted to find. Say I wanted 2.3, I hit enter, it gives me that specific value, and I also wanted to know x equals 5, I put that in. I also wanted to know x equals negative 0.8, and it will give me those specific values.